Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and in today's video, we are going to be doing some updated technical analysis on your favorite cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, because quite frankly, guys, Bitcoin right now is sitting on a knife's edge, and if Bitcoin makes one decision, it could rally all the way back up to $65,000, the all-time high, but if it doesn't manage to do that, then we could be seeing a correction down to 53. We got a lot of great news stories to cover. For example, Bakkt, based from the Intercontinental Exchange, the company that owns the New York Stock Exchange, has partnered with Google, so we're going to be talking about that and the major adoption that that could bring. And we're also going to be talking about why we think that the rest of October is going to be very, very bullish, but we first need to get some confirmation from this market because there are a few concerns that we have. If you enjoyed today's show, make sure to smash that like button. Let's see if we can't get to 500 likes here in the first couple of minutes. And by the way, this show is brought to you by one of our favorite indicators, Lux Algo. Lux Algo is a premium indicator that we use in our analysis every single day, and it actually shows up at many places in our analysis today. If you'd like to sign up for it, you can use the link down below. Use coupon code Jebb, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout. I am joined, as always, by Tim. How you doing, Tim?
What's up, everybody? And you know what? I'm feeling good today, so I'm going to respond to Rami Halawa. Not sure if that's how your name is pronounced, but shout out to you. Just because love you guys. So.
Boom sauce. Tim, do you have lightning deep in your bones this morning?
I do, and it really hurts.
Ouch. So. Yeah, that actually does sound absurdly painful. We are also joined, as always, by Smay. How are you doing, Smay?
Hello, everybody. I just have to say something real quick. Before I even shout out our members, I just want to say a big thank you to Jebb for being so awesome. You know why Jebb is so awesome? Because we just had a glitch on our end. Thankfully, it didn't affect the YouTube stream, so you guys hopefully didn't notice anything different. But the countdown didn't restart, so we only had 5 seconds to know when we were about to go live. And he killed the intro, so thank you, Jebb, for being so awesome.
Well, thank you very much for making sure everything's working, Smay. Good deal, man.
And then I want to shout out my members today. I want to actually do something special today. Can you hand me the trophy?
Well, it's not yours.
Can you hand me that trophy, is what I said? I didn't say that.
Can I hand me
say it right. Can you hand me your trophy?
Come on, this is taking too long. So here's what I want to actually shout out the people on the trophy today. So I want to shout out Adam Rourke, Matt C, Tommy Lou, Edward Hess, Rick 4962, Daniel Walton, Screwhead, and Dennis Pizarka. Thank you guys so much for supporting. You guys are the esteemed Grandmasters. You guys are on the trophy, and I just want to say thank you to you guys specifically for being a great, generous supporters.
You know why Smay is so very happy about that? Is because those people that sign up for that membership help to make sure Smay gets a paycheck. We actually just started paying him last week. He's been volunteering this whole time. No, I'm joking. He has been taking all of our money. Why do we keep having to be sponsored by people? Because Smay, obviously, he just he's running the stream.
I don't know where this is going.
I don't know where it's going either. Okay. But it was funny in my head for a second. Guys, we got a lot to talk about today. I'm really looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and jump onto my chart. And thank you very much to all of our members. The very first thing that I want to talk about out on the daily chart for Bitcoin is this. Yesterday, we discussed these long upper shadows, these long upper wicks that formed on the daily chart for Bitcoin. And today, as of yesterday, we were worried about yesterday's candlestick closing in such a way that we would have a long upper wick, and that would end up being very bearish. The good news is that we did not have that happen. We saw a large green candlestick. And by the way, guys, we have about 10 to 15 minutes of bullish technicals, and then in about 15 minutes, we're going to jump into our bearish technicals, and then we'll dive into our concluding segments. So that's the way the show map's going to run. We got another 15 minutes or so of bullish TA, so let's go ahead and do it. The fact that we did not close this candlestick with a long upper shadow is a very good sign. That is one of the first bullish things that we want to mention. And on top of that, guys, some longer-term macro TA, I need you to know that we're still under a buy signal on Lux Algo, who, as I said earlier, is one of the sponsors of our show. This strong buy signal is a very good sign because the last several times we've seen strong buy signals, it has indicated that we're going into a pretty big rally, and we've seen that show up on the daily chart, and we've even seen it show up on the weekly chart. If you look back on the history of Bitcoin, looking at Lux Algo, you can see that strong buy signals typically are very, very good. Now, there was a strong buy signal right here that immediately was followed by a correction, but this is invalid because that was when the thing that shall not be named last year started, so you can't really discount Lux Algo on that front. The point here is about a month and a half ago, we saw a strong buy signal on the weekly chart, and that is a very good sign. And also, looking out to the monthly chart, you can see that as of this month, we are looking at a strong buy signal. And here's the deal with the monthly chart, guys. If we manage to close anywhere above $47,000 this month, then we're going to have a big green, red, green formation following a bullish engulfing candlestick formation out here on the monthly chart. So that's a little bit of longer term TA that I haven't shown you in several days. So that is a very bullish thing. But jumping back to the daily chart, one of the things I want to show you on the Bollinger Bands is the fact that the Bollinger Bands are very, very wide right now, but we were outside of the Bollinger Bands back on the 6th and the 7th, which was the mid part of last week. Ever since then, we pretty much traded upwards and sideways to the top right, and we have managed to correct back inside of those Bollinger Bands. What does this mean? Well, having the Bollinger Bands positioned like this is actually a very good thing on the daily chart. Now, there are some concerning things on the shorter term time frames that we'll get to in a second, but for the most part, the fact that the Bollinger Bands are widening and they are very wide indicates that there's a lot of volatility in the market. And as you guys know, because we talk about this all the time here on the channel, volatility, volume, and retail investor interest are three of the things that drive rallies. Those are three fundamentals that we want to pay close attention to. So the fact that the volatility is high, but that we're not outside of the Bollinger Bands is actually a very bullish thing. On top of that, guys, I mentioned in the description, and I mentioned a second ago, that right now Bitcoin is on a knife's edge, and that's exactly where we are sitting. If you take a look at the VPVR, this is the volume profile of the visible range. What does that mean? It basically means that these bars over here on the left side of our chart are taking into account where the majority of trading has taken place inside of the visible range. So if I zoom out and look at the last 10 years of price action on Bitcoin, it's going to take into account all of that. But if I zoom in here and only look at the last several months, then we're only going to take into account the last several months of price action in this calculation. Now, the simple fact of the matter is here, there are three major peaks on VPVR, right here, and right here. These are calculated based on trading zones. There was a lot of trading that happened down here around $33,500. There was quite a bit of trading that happened right here between $47,000, and then there was also a lot of trading that happened up here around $55,000. You can see, based on the VPVR, that we're sitting right on top of this hill. I've used the analogy multiple times, and I've covered this in almost every single stream for the last week, and the reason I have is because it's incredibly, incredibly important. There is a ball sitting on top of this hill, and if the ball rolls to the upside and moves down the hill on the bullish direction, then that's a very good thing, and we will likely move all the way back to all-time high with a quickness. But if we don't manage to maintain this rally and we don't move to the upside, then there is a valley here on the VPVR around 53,000 that we have previously established as our zone of support based on this previous local high. So guys, that is why where we are right now is what I call a decision point, and why I call where we are right now a no trade zone. I think it is personally a bad idea to enter a long or a short position. Why? Because we haven't decided what we're going to do. We're in a decision point right now. Bitcoin needs to decide, hey, are we going to rally a lot? Are we going to moonshot a couple $1,000s? Or are we going to correct a little bit? That's what we're trying to ascertain in this video, so stay tuned if you want to figure out the answer. Moving right along here, though, I want to look at some of the shorter term technicals. Down on the 4-hourly chart, there are several things I want to show you. First and foremost, there was a phenomenal bullish strong buy signal on Lux Algo that literally predicted this entire rally, and we are still under that strong buy signal. Now, there are a couple of bearish factors here that we will discuss in a second when we get into our second segment on the bearish technicals, but for right now, this is a very good sign. The simple fact that we're still under a strong buy signal on Lux Algo is a good thing. Now, another thing to show you has to do with the RSI. If we look at the RSI here, I want to point out these two lower lows and these two higher lows on the chart. This and these two trend lines form what is known as bullish RSI divergence. Bullish RSI divergence almost always leads to a movement to the upside on the RSI, not on the RSI, on the price action, which then leads to bullish movement on the RSI. So this is a good sign. And in fact, zooming in a little bit here, you can see what the price action chart looks like on Bitcoin, and there are a couple of very bullish chart formations that we can look at. For example, there are two bullish engulfing candlesticks back to back right here. That does signal bullishness on the market, and right now, even though we have these long lower wicks right here, which indicate that the bears are trying to push us to the downside but are failing, and there is this green, red, green formation right here. Now, this is not conclusive because remember, guys, I'm going to come back in a second and I'm going to look at all the bearish. We like to do the good and then the bad because we're optimists and we're bullish on the longer term chart for Bitcoin. So there are bearish technicals here, but we're going to come back to those in just a second. Now, Another thing I want to show you has to do with this trend line right here, which is actually going to come into play in several areas on our chart. Looking down in our analysis here, looking down on the hourly chart, you can see this trend line on Bitcoin was set by all of these movements right here, and we did actually manage to break above it in the last several hours. And in fact, right now, we are establishing a zone of resistance right around here. You can see Tim actually drew this on my chart this morning. Between 56.6 and 57.5, we are drawing a zone of resistance here, and in fact, you could even call this a bull flag, which you can see would, in theory, have a price target of roughly $60,000. So this is a good sign. This little bull flag right here does indicate movement to the upside, but we're going to come back to that when we conclude and wrap everything up in technical in our discussion segment a little bit later. Now, one of the other things I want to show you here is that on the 4-hourly chart, the Bollinger Bands are still widening. This is a good sign. Again, there are some counterpoints to this that we're going to get to in a second, but the Bollinger Bands widening here, considering they were very constricted here for a few days, does indicate that we might be moving in the right direction. I've been concerned about this movement over the last week because I'm like, hey, I don't know. Are we going to be able to hold this? I really just don't see a lot of exuberance in the market right now. I feel like we're kind of at the end of our rope. The fact that the Bollinger Bands are widening on 4-hourly chart is a good deal. One of the other things to mention here on the 4-hourly chart is that the volume has picked up over the last 48 hours, but I will point out that over the last 24 hours, the volume has been decreasing. So the fact that the volume picked up about 24 hours ago is a good sign. It moving to the downside recently is not quite as good of a sign. Now, that is pretty much all of the technical analysis that I wanted to show you on Bitcoin, but there are a few pieces of fundamental analysis that I want to show you as well. But really quickly, I want to ask Tim, where do you think what do you feel about the market sentiment right now? Because I'm getting a lot of mixed signals personally from the technical analysis, and I'm a little bit concerned about this rally being able to continue. I don't know how sustainable the movement that we're in is right now. Now, we're going to talk about this a lot more a little bit later, but what are you feeling right now about this market?
Really quickly, I mean, we've seen on the charts that there could have been a correction several times, but even I was talking with Kelly this morning. Sometimes corrections don't always move down. Sometimes they move sideways, and that's what we've kind of seen. So as a whole, I think the sentiment of bullish price action is kind of outweighing even some of the bearish technicals, but I know we're going to talk about that later. Don't get me wrong, though. I do think at some point this month we will see some negative price action in Bitcoin itself. Not astronomical. I'm not talking about a 20% drop, but I think a good 2%, 3%, maybe even all the way up to 5% drop probably will happen at some point this month.
Yeah, and I'm kind of concerned that that's going to happen here a little bit sooner than later. So we're going to continue talking about that. But really quickly, I have a news story that I want to read you real quick because this is actually a very, very big deal. Bakkt crypto exchange partners with Google for payments. Now, you obviously know who Google is, but you might not know who Bakkt is. What is Bakkt? Bakkt is a traditional financial service provider that was created and founded by the Intercontinental Exchange, ICE. Now, you might not be familiar with the Intercontinental Exchange either, but I guarantee you that you're familiar with one of their holdings, the New York Stock Exchange. ICE is up here. It's the holding company. They own the New York Stock Exchange, the largest stock exchange on planet Earth. $30 trillion in valuation is traded there. And ICE has created Bakkt. This has been something that's been going on for the last 3 years. Bakkt was announced, I want to say, in August of 2018, back when Bitcoin was at a local high around, I think, about $11,000. I remember this. This was back during the time when Bitcoin ETFs were being talked about. VanEck, BlackRock, all of these people were talking about building Bitcoin ETFs. And I remember 2.5 years ago, I made a video and I said Bakkt is literally the biggest news story of the year for 2018, which, by the way, wasn't saying much because 2018 was probably the most boring year of the 4 years that I've been here in cryptocurrency. Needless to say, Bakkt is a big deal, but once it finally launched, there wasn't a whole lot of, hoopla about it. It launched and it was like, yeah, that's great. And then everybody kind of forgot about it. They partnered with Starbucks, and everybody was like, this is going to be the thing that brings mass adoption to crypto. And then we found out that's not really what happened. But the point here is this. Bakkt is partnering with Google. Now, Bakkt themselves were not as big of an influence on the cryptocurrency space as many people thought they were going to be, but I guarantee you if Google got in, that would be a little bit different. Millions of retailers currently accept Google Pay as a form of payment, potentially giving Bakkt users the ability to pay in crypto at a variety of stores and online markets. In a Friday announcement, Bakkt said it had partnered with Google to allow its users to purchase goods and services using Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies through the Google Pay wallet and payment system. In addition, Bakkt plans to build new analytics and geolocation functionality on its platform using Google Cloud tools. The exchange hopes that the features will expand loyalty redemption options while providing Bakkt partners with valuable customer behavior patterns. This partnership is a testament to Bakkt's strong position in the digital asset marketplace to empower customers to enjoy digital assets in a real-time, secure, reliable manner, said Bakkt CEO Gavin Michael. Here's the deal, guys. I don't know that this partnership is going to be ground-shaking. Obviously, it launched, it was announced about 20 hours ago now. Haven't seen a massive jump in the price action. At least I can't tell that there was one as a result of this. But here's why this is important, and we're going to come back to this topic a little bit later when we get into our third segment on discussion. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Walmart, 4 of the largest retailers on planet Earth, not necessarily retailers, but 4 of the largest companies on planet Earth. Every single one of them is fully aware of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and every single one of them right now is looking into ways that Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, DeFi, decentralized applications, and this ecosystem can help them to make more money. The fact that Google is moving into cryptocurrency payments in any way, shape, or form means that Google is taking an interest in Bitcoin. Google is one of the most powerful companies on planet Earth. Jeff Bezos, the founder and former CEO, which is weird to say, the former CEO of Amazon once said, Google is like a mountain. You can climb the mountain, but you cannot move the mountain. It's far too powerful to do that. Google is, by many accounts, one of the most powerful companies on planet Earth. And while this partnership might not be that big of a deal, it speaks volumes about what's going on in the minds of executives at Google. And if Google starts moving in the direction of adopting Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in any way, shape, or form, capacity, whatever, YouTube will do the same. Google, the largest search engine on planet Earth, will do the same. Google Maps could do the same. This could end up being a big deal. It is speculation right now, but it's something that we want to keep a close eye on. With that said, we're going to go into a 5-minute intermission here. We're going to read some super chats because I know that you guys always love to interact with us. We love reading everything that you guys have, so let's go ahead and do that. We got a few. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, we got a couple. We got one from Derek Delgado saying, I've been watching you guys for a while and I love this channel. I recently learned and understand more about Bitcoin dominance and wanted to know if it's too late to rebalance as I'm 85 to 90% in alts.
No, I don't think it's too late to rebalance. So this is actually something we talked about yesterday. I think it's a bad idea to jump between moving trains, which Kelly, one of our researchers, puts it that way. If you're already fully in on Bitcoin and Bitcoin's moving, you might just want to leave what's there. But there is something to be said about taking profits and then moving some of those profits into another portfolio. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You just want to be very wise about it. Something that I would encourage you to do is before you start moving cryptocurrency around, unless there's a really big news story or you know something's about to happen, which is rare that you know something. You might think something, but it's rare you know something in cryptocurrency about the future. I would be careful about rebalancing too much. It's better to put new money in there. Good question.
All right, we got one from Crypto Alchemist saying double bottom on Bitcoin dominance, hopefully leading to Bitcoin running hot in the near future. Be blessed, guys. Sorry, Tampa. # Red Sox.
Oof.
Yeah,
rough.
Rays,
guys,
man.
If you're enjoying today's show, smash that like button. I know we can get to 1,500 likes here in the next couple of minutes. We have over 3,500 people watching, so thank you very much for that. Here's what I think. I think that Bitcoin's dominance probably is bottoming out, and we're actually going to talk about here around the top of the hour about the about 10:10. We're going to talk about this. The fact that the altcoins are having a pretty rough day, they have not really done very well over the last 48 hours, and Bitcoin actually has maintained. So a lot of people are wondering, hey, why is Bitcoin doing kind of decently? The altcoins aren't doing very well. I think that we might be about to see a resurgence in Bitcoin market dominance. We're going to dive into that more a little bit later. Fantastic question.
All right, we got another one from D. Kennedy, 1980, iffy. Yeah,
there you go.
Name. All right, what are your thoughts on EOS?
EOS is a project that I used to follow quite closely. I remember back in 2018. The issue with EOS is I personally haven't seen a whole lot of development go on with it in the last couple of years. Now, maybe there has, and I'm just ignorant to the fact that there's been development going on. It seems that it's kind of getting left behind by some of the other projects, though.
Gotcha. Moving on to a couple of questions about some altcoin, because we're moving on here. X Vega said thoughts on Quant or Quant. Which is it Quant or Quant?
It's Quant. I'm not familiar enough with it to want to make a statement on it.
Gotcha. Eric Leon said, what are your thoughts on Terra Luna?
Luna seems like a good project, but it's another one that I still need to do more research on before I can give you a good opinion on that. Like I've told you guys before, we typically stick to the larger caps because frankly, that's where my investment is. So that's what I'm spending most of my time looking at.
Yeah, we got one from Yard Dog. Rick.
Let's go, Yard Dog.
He said, why is Shiba moving tick for tack, same as Bitcoin and nothing else?
Because the thing about SHIB is it did just get listed on Coinbase. So it's I think that's having a big effect on its price. As for why it's moving, you know, tit for tat with Bitcoin, I didn't realize it was. But
well, yeah, if you literally look at CoinMarketCap and you look at the top 10 projects, everything is red. Well, at least it was this morning. Sorry. Everything was red except for Bitcoin, Shiba Inu, and then the...
SHIB's down 2.38% right now.
Okay, so it changed. But this morning when I looked, literally everything was red on the last 24 hours, except for Bitcoin, Shiba Inu, and then the stable coins.
Frickin' SHIB.
Yeah.
Dang it, SHIB.
All right, we got probably this last one, and then we'll jump back into it. Mark Pride said, what is most likely for Bitcoin at 100,000? Huge correction or FOMO towards 150K?
That's a great question. I think it's going to FOMO over 100,000. Once we get there, I don't think it's going to stop because I think we're going to see a bunch of big power players getting involved. By that time, I think we'll probably have a Bitcoin ETF approved, which actually... I just interviewed another YouTuber called Thinking Crypto, and we talk about that in an interview that's coming out on Saturday, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's coming up. And he talked about how he thinks that there's an ETF coming in probably in the next 3 to 4 months, and I think that they're probably, or excuse me, he said the SEC lawsuit with XRP is probably going to be resolving in the next 3 to 4 months. I think that that's going to happen, and I also think we're going to see a Bitcoin ETF finally approved in the next 3 to 6 months. That'll probably line up with about $100,000 Bitcoin, and then once those things occur, it'll allow big power players to invest in Bitcoin directly a lot easier. Hopefully it'll be a physically backed ETF and not a derivative, but the point is a lot of things are having the foundation laid that once we hit $100,000, we can keep going for a while. I think $150,000 to $200,000 is in the cards. The same way we thought 10,000 was the all-time high during the last bull market. I think that we might, the same way we thought 10,000 was the last all-time high, and then we ended up running to 20 because the FOMO took over. I think we will end up doing something pretty similar. With that said, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump back onto our bearish technicals. We don't have well, I take that back. We do actually have quite a lot to talk about here, but we don't have much time to do it, so let's go ahead and jump back onto my screen. The first thing I want to show you that is bearish on Bitcoin. Now, if you just tuned in, we just did the bullish technicals. There are quite a few bullish technicals, but there are some bearish technicals that we need to keep in mind.
Are you on your chart right now?
I am on my chart.
Oh, no.
What happened?
The screen is not working.
The screen is not working.
All right, guys, technical difficulties.
Well, I will run you through some of the things that we're looking at right now while he's working on that. The first thing that I need you guys to understand is that the volume is very, very low on Bitcoin. The volume spiked and peaked about a week and a half ago, and it has been declining ever since. The fact that the volume is not very high right now indicates that there is a little bit of hesitation in the bulls. We've gone on this big rally, $15,000, and now Bitcoin's been trading sideways for the last several days. And the problem that we're running into here is that the volume's falling off, and the volatility, while it's picked up a little bit on the shorter term time frames, is not anywhere near as high as it could be. And the other thing you got to look at is the fact that the MACD is actually converging bearish. It's been converging bearish over the last 4 to 5 days, and when the MACD converges bearish like that, it basically means that we could be seeing a bearish MACD cross coming in relatively soon. It did diverge bullish one time for one day, but it has been converging bearish over the last little while. Now, another thing to mention here is that tell me when or if we're able to see my screen, Smay. If we can't, that's okay. I can walk everybody through this verbally.
I will.
It's
just not working.
That's okay. We're gonna walk through it verbally. Here, I'm gonna check out my verbal processing skills. One of the things I want to mention, and if you scrub back in the video, I actually mentioned that this was going on. The Lux Algo indicator, one of our favorite indicators here at the channel, has a functionality that is called a take profit. And it actually has set up take profits around the October the 6th. And as of yesterday, let me take a look here. There was a take profit signal yesterday. Sorry, not October the 6th. There was a take profit yesterday on the 11th, which Lux Algo is basically saying, hey, you made your gains. Now might be a time to go ahead and pull out of that. And another thing to look at here, guys, is the fact that we broke bullish yesterday. And we did rally a little bit. I even showed you a minute ago the fact that we are sitting in some trading symmetrical triangle pattern down on the 1 hourly chart. The problem is here, when we tried to break out yesterday and the day before, we really didn't do very well.
I got your screen back.
We have my screen back?
Yeah.
Yay, they can see it.
I got to reframe it.
Coolio. So what I was saying here is that we have this little triangle pattern right here where Bitcoin tried to break out, and it broke out a little bit, but it didn't really do a whole lot. The problem is here, Bitcoin broke out, didn't really move very far. This I even have highlighted on my in my notes, because the problem with this is we tried to break bullish and we really didn't do very well. What I'm worried about right now is that I think the bulls are kind of at the end of their rope. And what do I mean by that? Well, Bitcoin has rallied $17,000 in 11 days. 11 days, $17,000. It really is starting to feel like the bulls are out of momentum. Let me explain why. On the daily chart, there is a bull flag, and it shows up with the price action that we've seen recently. This bull flag right here has a price target over $70,000 or almost $70,000. We should have, if we were going to be that bullish, seen a pretty major break to the upside. What did we see? Yesterday we saw a tiny little break to the upside of a couple $100. Now that's great, but here's the thing. That breakout should have been quite a bit bigger. The fact that it wasn't larger is quite concerning. The fact that we did not see a larger breakout indicates that the bulls don't have as much strength as we would like for them to have. We're seeing weakness coming from the bulls. One of the things we talk about in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy is the strength of the bulls and the bears. It's incredibly important you understand the strength of these different factions, and right now we have a lot of reasons, not just this, but many reasons to believe the bulls are losing some of their strength. We could be coiling up, getting ready for a big breakout, or the easier scenario is the bulls are frankly just losing their strength. So that's not great. But let's jump back down here to the 4-hourly chart because there are several things that I want to show you on this screen. The first one has to do with the RSI. Remember a second ago, I mentioned how we had bullish RSI divergence going on with this uptrending level of support, this downtrending level of support. Well, I didn't tell you the whole story because there's actually still bearish RSI divergence showing up here on the daily chart as well. We have, on the 4-hourly chart, we have some very clear bearish RSI divergence. No matter how you want to draw it, there is clearly a downtrend on the RSI, uptrend on the price action. That indicates that there is bearish RSI divergence, so both of these kind of cancel each other out. So I'm going to go ahead and delete both of them. It looks like the bullish RSI divergence has played out, though. You can see a little bit of a move to the upside. Now there could be an argument to be made that the bearish RSI divergence is going to play out, and it could cause a small correction. In general, I'm not feeling very confident in this market right now. As the days go on, I'm getting less and less confident of a break to the upside, and I'm starting to get a little bit more confident of a correction simply because of the weakness that the bears are showing. On top of that, looking at the MACD, you can see
the bulls are showing
the weakness that the bulls are showing, excuse me. On top of that, you can see the MACD down here on the 4-hourly chart is flatlining, and it has also crossed bearish. That is not a good sign, and it does indicate that we could be breaking to the downside out of the symmetrical triangle pattern instead of the upside. Now, I also want to show you guys the market cipher because this is a indicator that we've been using quite a bit. If you guys are interested, we do have an affiliate link down below. It's a technical indicator that is really good at supplementing your technical analysis. I found that Lux Algo and Market Cipher work really, really well together, so make sure that you check it out. We have a red dot right here about 1600 hours on the 11th of October. And that basically means that this blue area, this momentum, is moving to the downside. Now, we see that the money flow, which is right here, is doing pretty well, but even when you get down to the hourly chart, Market Cipher is not looking great. In fact, most people that use Market Cipher would take what we're seeing right now as a sell signal. There's a red dot, money flow is moving to the downside, and the VWAP is also sitting here around this 0 level. Not a lot of confidence coming out of the hourly chart on Market Cipher. So for any of you guys out there that use Market Cipher, drop a 1 in chat if you do. It's not showing a lot of confidence right now, and you definitely want to be aware of that. Now, looking back to the 4-hourly chart, there are a couple of things I want to show you here that are not very encouraging. I showed you some bullish candlestick analysis on the 4-hourly chart, and I said I have more that's bearish. Here's the bearish. There was a non-engulfing candlestick that formed right here on the 4-hourly chart. That signals that, again, the bears are weakened, and they're having a lot of trouble breaking to the upside. They're having a lot of trouble moving anywhere. So right now, we're seeing a lot of, we're basically seeing anemia coming from the bulls, and that's not what you want to see when you see the market moving to the upside. Tim, I want to ask you a question. Why do you think that the bulls are having such a hard time moving hardly anywhere to the upside? Do you think that we've gone too far?
No, I don't think too far. And again, I still think that we're in a season of manipulation sorts. I do think, as I said a couple of minutes ago, I do think at some point we're going to see a correction. So whether it happens right now or whether we continue to go up, continue to break through, because there are still signs that we could do that, and break later, go down, I don't know. But I think what we're seeing actually at the moment, it's almost more of like a deadlock, a weakness of both bulls and bears, because we saw a small spike in the volume the other day, but as a whole, the volume is not anywhere near what it was probably about a week and some change ago.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and read some super chats, and then we're going to dive right back into that discussion because I want to go really deep and try and figure out what is the market doing right now. We've shown you the bullish technicals. We've shown you the bearish technicals. Here in a second, after we read super chats, we're going to wrap this all up in a bow, and we're going to discuss what does the next 7 days on Bitcoin look like? Why are we seeing such anemia coming from the bulls? Why are we having such a hard time moving above these levels of resistance? What would Google getting into the cryptocurrency market mean? What does Bakkt partnering with Google mean? We're going to talk about all of this here in a second. But first, smash that like button. I know we can get to 1,500 likes here in the next couple of minutes. Thank you, all of you 4,100 people who are watching. Let's go ahead and read some super chats.
All right, well, the first one, we have a member, Shadrach Frost, who's been a member now for 2 months.
Let's go, Shadrach.
Jebb Youngling. He said, when folks buy Bitcoin with cash from an exchange, where does the Bitcoin come from? Can there be a day when buying Bitcoin isn't an option due to finite amounts?
Wait, read that one more time. What was the first part?
When folks buy Bitcoin with cash from an exchange, where does the Bitcoin come from?
Oh, well, the exchange holds Bitcoin in the same way that the exchange has their own Bitcoin, and they maintain something called a liquidity pool. Liquidity basically is the principle of the ability to easily transact is money that's easily able to be retrieved. So companies maintain liquidity by having a lot of money in their operating account so they can pay payroll, right? Well, an exchange maintains something called liquidity by maintaining a balance of Bitcoin that they can either sell or that people can buy from at a moment's notice, so they're able to provide that service. So they sit on, 50,000, 100,000 Bitcoin, whatever the number is, so that you're able to buy from them. They're basically a party that you're buying Bitcoin from.
Yeah, and the last thing is, can there still be a day where Bitcoin, well, is there a day when Bitcoin won't be able to be bought pretty much because there's a finite amount and no one wants to sell?
Potentially. And if there is, then that basically means that Bitcoin would kind of grind to a halt. But the thing is, Bitcoin has such a massive ability to be denominated down into smaller pieces. One Satoshi is like a thousandth of a penny in valuation. So it would be very hard to get to a point where there's no Bitcoin. Somebody's going to be trading it, because if you get to the point where there's no Bitcoin, then the price would have moonshot because of simple supply and demand economics, and somebody's going to want to sell it because they want to go buy a Lambo or something. So it's possible, however unlikely. Economics would forbid something like that happening.
I'm trying to think. He left the name, but I'm pretty sure it was Kelly who just commented. I'm making sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Kelly. So Kelly he's also been a member for 2 months now, said smash the like button, help the channel that we're working
Kelly.
So hard to bring you this information.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly.
Thanks so much, Kelly. Moving forward, we got one from, and he even in the super chat says Tim butchers my name. Dennis Merlzajack.
Merlzajack.
That's what it is, Dennis.
This is literally my favorite segment of the whole show. I love when we have to listen to Tim try and pronounce stuff.
Jebb, can you, he's adding things to the screen, so it's moving. Can you expand on your belief of no deep bear market? Bitcoin dropped 55% in 2 months ago, and 70% drop. Not so strange. Tim, you still butchered my name.
Yeah, sure. No, here's the deal. I'm not saying that the market can't pull back 55, 60, 70%. I don't think it's going to pull back 85%. We could go from 120,000 to 50 or 60,000. I just don't think we'd go from 120,000 to like 25,000. I don't think that we're ever going to see an 85% correction on the market the same way we did in 2014 and the same way we did in 2018. But that doesn't mean that I don't think we're going to have big corrections. I think the corrections will get smaller as we go. The next bull market, we might see 55, 60%, but I don't think we're going to see as deep of a move to the downside as we have previously. There's too many people sitting on the sidelines ready to buy the dip. Could we see 55%? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Gabby TC says, how far do you think Bitcoin dominance will go up? Will it keep up until we reach all-time high in Bitcoin, or is there a chance that alts will follow before Bitcoin all-time high?
That's actually a question I have for Tim that I'm going to ask him here in 2 minutes, so stay tuned for that.
All right, a couple more of these. We got one from Clinton Query, I think. Sheeb partner with Now Payments for Burn and listed BNB US. Okay, I think that was, sorry. Did not proofread that one. Probably more of a shield.
Johann Fitzgerald said, please try and pronounce my name. I think I got that right.
Well, let's look at what he got.
It's not a super chat. It was just a chat. Tell me if I got that right.
Johann Fitzgerald.
Johann Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I can get that.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it.
Easy.
It was just a chat from like a minute ago.
We got another one from Rick4962. That's Yard Dog. So 90% of all Bitcoin is mined.
Yeah, 90% of all Bitcoin is mined. We've already seen, 90% of it get mined. You were correct. This is a factual statement.
We do have a new Jebb Youngling.
Woo!
John McSpadden.
John McSpadden.
John McSpadden. I've never heard that name before.
That's a cool name.
So there's a 10% chance that was not pronounced correctly.
Tim can't pronounce pronounce.
Pronunciated correctly.
Pronunciated.
Words are hard, you know.
Words are indeed very hard. Do we get all of them?
I mean, so there are some very clear shill coins. I'll just shout out the names. Andrew Mendoza, thank you for your donation. And Jared, thank you for your donation. But I'm not going to read those comments.
Well, there you go. Well, Tim, I have a question for you, jumping into our final segment here on our discussion.
All right.
I have been watching Bitcoin very closely, and so have you, over the last week.
Yes.
It's been trading sideways, but we've actually found Cardano has not been doing very well. It's been losing a lot of momentum. It has not been moving to the upside like Bitcoin has. Ethereum kind of has, but Ethereum still is in its inverse head and shoulders pattern, the same way Bitcoin was a while ago. Bitcoin has moved far ahead of the altcoins. Do you think that Bitcoin is about to see that double bottom on Bitcoin dominance come into play and we're about to see a big rally on Bitcoin? Is it going to be the one that leads the charge? Or, on the other hand, the fact that the altcoins are not doing very well, is that a sign that the entire market is struggling and it's actually just that Bitcoin is the last holdout because people are more comfortable in it? There's two sides of this argument. I wonder where you lie.
Well, so here's the thing. I was talking with you, Jebb, this morning, and also Kelly. What we're kind of seeing happen right now is, there are some outliers, but we're kind of seeing Bitcoin do its own thing. We're actually seeing Ethereum kind of be in a class of its own. Like, Ethereum isn't just following every single move that every other altcoin makes. It's almost like it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then it's all the altcoins, and they're moving similarly. We are seeing the complete crypto space's market cap go up, right? But we are seeing altcoins go down. This seems to be like one of those seasons, kind of like, and I think we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but like a tsunami, and this was Kelly's analogy, but like a tsunami, but right before the massive storm, it's almost like the water gets pulled out. And I think right now we're seeing the market cap go up, but most of that pressure is going to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, which has been low in dominance over the last couple of months, is regaining some of that dominance. And whether we're going to see the altcoins come back before all-time high or after all-time high, that I can't answer. But I do think we're going to see Bitcoin take some dominance before we see a massive wave of altcoin pushing. And then there will be a place, just like what we saw earlier this year, where they're actually all of them going up together. But there probably will be a top to Bitcoin before the top to the altcoins.
I actually want to ask the chat about this too, because the fact of the matter is, I say the fact of the matter is a lot. That's become one of my ticks. That's become the at the end of the day. The fact of the matter is, I guess I'll lean into it. There are two scenarios that could be playing out right now. Either one, we're seeing the altcoins are losing their dominance and it's going to Bitcoin because Bitcoin is leading the charge. That's what we saw happen in 2017. Bitcoin had a massive run and the altcoins were doing well, but towards the blow-off top period between October and December of 2017, the altcoins actually lost a lot of their dominance and Bitcoin ran, and then the altcoins followed. If you remember, Bitcoin hit all-time high December 16th, 2017. Ethereum hit all-time high around January 12th, I want to say, 2018, a full month later. The altcoins ran, but they ran after Bitcoin because Bitcoin led the charge. So either one, you can make the argument that the altcoins are losing dominance right now because all of the valuation is going into Bitcoin, which is a tempting argument. Or the other argument, and the one that I'm more tempted to lean to, is that the altcoins are showing us something about the sentiment in the market that we should be scared of. I think right now, the reason that the altcoins are not doing very well is not because money is flowing into Bitcoin, because if we just saw a couple $100 billion worth of value leave the altcoins, maybe not that much, dozens of billions of dollars leave the altcoins, and Bitcoin's supposed to be leading the charge, then what we should have seen is all of that money flow into Bitcoin, but that's not what we saw. We saw the valuation of altcoins drop over the last 24 hours, and the value of those altcoins, where did that money go? It doesn't seem like it went into Bitcoin. We haven't seen a big run on Bitcoin. Bitcoin rallied, $20 billion. There was over $100 billion of valuation that's been leaving the altcoin space over the last couple of days. So I'm wondering where that money's going. I think it's sitting on the sidelines because I think everybody in the market who's worth their salt as an investor and trader realizes, hey, Bitcoin is in a decision point right now. It's probably going to move to the upside, but quite frankly, it hasn't chosen yet. We don't know if it can sustain this rally because we've just rallied $17,000. I will always and have always been the guy who will come here and tell you We just had a massive rally. I love Bitcoin. I want it to do well. I want it to rally as much as you do. I have a vested interest in that. I hold many Bitcoin. The problem is this. When Bitcoin rallies as fast as it just did, $17,000 in 11 days, I keep saying that because it's important, it needs to calm down. There's going to be FOMO after we hit all-time high and break it, but right now, that FOMO has not kicked in. Where is it? Where's the FOMO? I don't see it. There's no FOMO. You know, the market feels right now the way that it did when Bitcoin was trading where it was 2 weeks ago. You know, it's a little bit more interesting, but the FOMO's not here. So if the FOMO's not here and the valuation in the altcoins is leaving and it's not going into Bitcoin and it's sitting on the sidelines, then what gives? What's going on? It looks much more to me like there's not this whole tsunami thing happening yet. I think it's going to, but I don't think it's happening yet. And people are like, I don't know about this Bitcoin, you know, it's sitting up here, it's sitting on this decision point, it needs to break up, but I don't know. Look, here's the deal, guys. There's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines right now. Where did all the money that just left the altcoins go? It didn't go into Bitcoin, so where'd it go? It went into cash, it went into stable coins. That's where it went. There's a lot of people who are waiting for Bitcoin to hit 60, 61,000, and then they're going to buy in. If we get up to 60, 61,000, man, dude, game over. We're going to all-time high and probably beyond. The problem is getting there. Because all of that FOMO is sitting behind a wall of $3,000 on Bitcoin, and I'm not sure if that wall is going to get knocked down. I want to hear your thoughts on that in the comments section. Drop a 1 in chat if you think that we are about to see this massive tidal wave of FOMO come in, and we're going to see a massive run to 65,000. And drop a 2 in chat if you're concerned like I am that, hey, all this money sitting on the sidelines waiting for a big rally that might not come. That's my concern. What do you think about that, Tim?
I'm trying to form my thought even as you're saying what you're saying, because there was even one sentence you said kind of stuck out to me. Where's the FOMO? Where's the FOMO? Usually when we see these rallies, there's a FOMO that comes after. Where is it? And here's the thing about FOMO. And this is what the whales and institutions want to see. That is exactly what they're doing. They want to pump price to increase FOMO so that when they see that increased amount of FOMO, that's their time to say, all right, let's take some profits, correct, shake these people out, and then keep moving, right? We're not seeing it. So to me, Jebb, that actually is the argument that I would use to think that this rally, again, I said earlier, we're probably going to see a correction at some point this month. But this is almost like, it's like a stopping ground. It's like let's is anyone following us? Like, let's look, oh, no one's following us, keep going, you know? And that's why I think that we actually potentially will hit that all-time high before we see money trickle into other altcoins, even with what you just said. Again, we've said this on the show, and this is my opinion, is that I think whatever you're doing in life, you need to have a worldview of how you put everything that's happening into context. My worldview is that we are in a season of manipulation and control, and that the whales institutions, or here we go, the composite man, is trying to do what he wants to do, and he wants to shake out retail investors. What he is looking for is FOMO. The price will go down when we see an increased amount of FOMO in the market. So for me, I'm waiting for that to happen for me to say, hey, now we're going down. For right now, I think it's completely fine to move up, sideways. Or I'll go for you guys. Up, sideways. Up, sideways. Up, sideways. But I agree with your point.
But yeah,
too fast is a bad thing.
That's the thing that I'm concerned about. I think so many people are sitting on the sidelines waiting to see if Bitcoin's going to move to the upside so that they can FOMO in, that so many people might be waiting on the sidelines that we'll never get the massive rally that we need. Yeah. So we won't actually, do it. I think there's so many people waiting for something to happen that there might not be enough people to actually cause it to happen.
Well, but you got to remember, like most of these institutions and whales, they want to make money, and they want to. The way they make money is by taking away from other people. If everyone's sitting on the sideline, they'll just do whatever they want to do. And I think they'll just continue to move it up, continue to spike the price. They'll take the loss right now. Yes, they have to put money into the market, continue to pump the price. Yep. But it's like fishing. You throw the line out there, no fish bites. You don't just, you throw it again, and you throw it again, and you wait for the bite. That's what we're kind of in the season right now. They're waiting for the retailers to bite, to FOMO in, and that's when they pull the hook.
Yeah, so let me be clear on my position because I don't want it to be confusing. I believe that a massive rally is coming to Bitcoin in October. I'm talking about in the next 3 weeks. I think that we're going to be close to or at all-time high. That being said, I'm concerned about a small correction over the next several days. And frankly, I shouldn't even use the word concern because I'm kind of excited for it. If we have a small correction and if we trade sideways, so long as we don't fall below $50,000, that's really the level that's important. So long as we don't fall below $50,000, then we'll be okay. If we have that small sideways movement, we should be fine. I'm just not feeling very bullish on Bitcoin right now. I think we need a small wave 2, a small corrective wave, before we are able to continue moving to the upside. But like I said, I want to hear your thoughts on that in the chat. A lot of people are saying that we're waiting for an ETF decision. I agree. I think there's a lot of pent-up exuberance in the market, and just about anything can come in and be a catalyst for that. But I don't know that that catalyst is coming in the next couple of days. So I think there's going to be a lot of bullishness in October. I just don't know about the next 7 days. With that said, I have an article here that I want to read, and then we're going to talk about a little bit. Bitcoin price live. Mystery whale makes huge Bitcoin purchase as crypto market value closes in on Apple. The price of Bitcoin is once again surging at the start of the week amid a fresh wave of positive news in the cryptocurrency space. Yada, yada, yada. Mystery whale puts a $1.6 billion buy order on a cryptocurrency exchange. Not OTC, not over the counter. A mysterious investor or group of investors has placed an order to buy $1.6 billion worth of Bitcoin on a cryptocurrency exchange. Such a large volume trade has inevitable contribution to Bitcoin's price surge, pushing it above $57,000 for the first time since May. Here's the thing. $1.6 billion, I don't know that I need to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, is a freaking huge amount of money. There are not many people or institutions in the world that have enough money to put $1.6 billion on the market, because you don't put your entire net worth on the market, or at least I hope you don't. You don't even necessarily put 10% of your net worth on the market. You might put 2 to 5% on a trade. Whoever's doing this is worth, I would say, north of $10 billion. So who is putting $1.6 billion on the market? There's a lot of speculation that this could be Apple or Google or Microsoft or Walmart or Amazon. None of that's confirmed, but it is possible. Tim, I wonder, who do you think is trying to buy $1.6 billion worth of Bitcoin? And is this the buying pressure that could push us over this $60,000 mark if that gets filled?
Well, I have no idea as to who. I will start right there. If you have a thought, I'd love to hear it. But is it enough to put us over? It's one of those things, like, I don't think it needs to be enough to put us directly right to, you said 70, or you just talking about new all-time highs?
Oh, new all-time highs.
New all-time highs. I think it's a nudge. Again, we've kind of been watching a tug of war between the bulls and the bears, and that's why I said earlier, I don't think it's as much weakness of the bulls as it is just like a tiredness of the entire market to kind of say, let's see what happens. That could be the nudge that gives the momentum back to the bulls to, as we've talked about on the show, begin to roll down the hill of the VPVR, which is upwards in price, back to all-time highs.
Yeah, no, I'm just really, really interested to see who, because the weird thing about this is, like, who puts $1.6 billion on exchange? If you're buying hundreds of millions or billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin or any kind of asset like this, you typically do it over the counter. So whoever's doing this, I really wonder if this is a manipulation event, because over-the-counter markets and over-the-counter trades don't move the market. Only exchange trades do. So this could be a manipulation event trying to manipulate it to the upside, and that might push you in the direction of agreeing with Tim that the whales want Bitcoin to move to the upside in a big way. But the fact of the matter is we still don't know who it is. I'd love to hear who you think it is. Drop a hashtag followed by the name of the company, individual, person, organization, institution, whatever that you think is trying to buy $1.6 billion worth of Bitcoin. With that said, guys, we can go ahead and move into our price predictions and also read a couple of super chats here. Tim, take it away.
Well, let's do some super chats
Let's
first.
do it.
And then we'll move into our predictions for Friday.
Predictions.
Which, we'll see how it goes. This is a hard week to do predictions. First question we have here from Corey said, hey guys, just to be clear, you guys are saying this would be just a momentary consolidation before we move up?
Yes.
Because between here and all-time high, there isn't a lot of resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there is very little resistance between here and all-time high. I'm talking about a few more days of sideways movement, maybe a little bit to the downside. We do have strong support at 53,000, so it's potential we could pull back there. Now, look, guys, I want to be really clear. We could blast off. My point is not that we're not going to blast off. My point is there's so many people sitting on the sidelines right now saying, I don't really know if I want to get in because it hasn't made a confident move to the upside yet. There's so many people on the sidelines that I'm wondering if there's enough volume to actually push us far enough that the dominoes start falling. If we push far enough, those dominoes will start falling. So don't get me wrong. We could easily blast off to all-time high. However, until that happens, I think we're going to have a hard time.
To try to get as many of these as possible, we're going to try to keep answers short. So sorry if we don't give you guys the deep answers you guys want. But you have a lot of super chats. So Liberty Above All, who has been a member for 2 months, has the chat here saying there's unfortunately a lot of people, myself included, who are waiting to see what happens with the proposed EO legislation as well as the stock market and inflation.
Yep.
There's a lot of uncertainty right now.
Absolutely, you're right. And that's what I mean by all these people sitting on the sidelines waiting to see what's going to happen.
Neil Aurora says, is it a good idea to sell some alts for Bitcoin right now?
You know, it depends. That really
so
depends
hard.
on your portfolio, to be honest with you. I can't give you a hard and fast answer on that.
Oreo357 says, is it better to put $500 into 2 coins or $100 into 10 coins?
$500 into 2 coins or $100 into 10 coins. I would,
Depends on what those coins are.
if you're new to the cryptocurrency space and you're just getting started, I would do 500 in 2 coins because those 2 coins, in my opinion, should be Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you're not new to the cryptocurrency space and you already have a portfolio established, then I would diversify because one of those coins is probably going to 10x and you're going to make all your money back. But the thing is, that all depends on how long you've been in the crypto space. And
Yeah. Kevin Vincent says, what's your view on Cody now after the recent correction based on TA?
haven't looked at the TA, so I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Yeah. All right, we're going to keep moving on. Let's see here. Kevin Finsel said cup and handle formation on Bitcoin weekly chart, as well as an RSI cup and handle targeting 70K, just like the flag you mentioned.
Yep, absolutely. It is targeting 70K. There are a lot of things targeting $70,000 right now. In fact, on the dominance charts, there's a cup and handle formation that's targeting $4 trillion in market cap. I said dominance, excuse me. Market capitalization chart. Actually, hang on. I'll show you that really quickly here.
Yeah, we have time.
Bitcoin dominance. I can never remember what this is actually called. BTC dominance, I think. BTC Dom, is this it? Bitcoin dominance. Well, I don't know if I can find it really quickly here. Keep reading super chats and I'll try and answer that. But the fact of the matter is, there are a lot of things targeting $70,000 right now. Tell me, drop in the chat what the ticker is for the dominance on TradingView. I always look out on CoinMarketCap, but I need it on TradingView.
Rashad Jackson, this is actually probably an easy question. Rashad Jackson just asked, if you had 300 to 500, would you trade it or put it into an altcoin?
If I had what now?
If you had 300, I'm assuming he's meaning dollars, 300 to 500, would you trade it or would you put it into altcoin? So would you use that for your trading portfolio or would you invest it?
I would probably use it as trading. And the reason that I say that is because $300 in investment is probably not going to get you very far, but $300 in trading is the kind of money that you can use to learn. But the best thing would probably be to split that 2 ways so that you have some experience investing and have some experience trading, because you need to get experience in both of those. And again, never invest more than you're willing to lose.
Yeah. Well, I think actually, because we had some shill coins. I do want to make sure I shout out the names.
I found the chart I was looking for, by the way.
Yeah. Well, this person. Oh no, that's never mind. Okay, so Ben D Decker. Thank you so much for your donation. Brandon Johnston, thank you. And I think that's what we have. Let's see. I just read that one. Yep. I think we're caught up on super chat. So if you want to
jump on
real quick, and we'll
jump onto my screen real quick. I'll show you what I was talking about here and what we were mentioning earlier. There is currently a cup and handle formation on the total market dominance charts for Bitcoin. You can see it right here, downtrending level of resistance. If we start to break this also, guys, this is another psychological resistance zone. $2.4 trillion is not only this downtrend, but it's also basically the all-time high for market cap. I said dominant. I keep saying dominance. I mean market capitalization. Market cap on Bitcoin's all-time high is about 2.55 trillion, which is about the market cap of Apple. If we do break to the upside there, then our cup and handle formation has a price target of about $3.7 trillion. And the same thing shows up on Bitcoin's daily chart / weekly chart. There's a cup and handle right here. It's not the prettiest cup and handle in the world, but hey, I can relate. It has a price target up here of about $70,000, depending on where you actually draw that. So the deal here is that there are many different things predicting a $70,000 Bitcoin. I think it's coming soon. We can even look at this tiny little bull flag here that is still relevant, predicting 70K. I think 70K is around the corner. I think it's going to be coming probably in the early part of November, maybe mid part of November. But like I said, we're just sitting here with all this money on the sideline. I'm talking dozens, tens of billions of dollars on the sideline waiting to get some kind of confirmation that has not come yet. But once it does, dominoes are going to start falling, and they're going to start falling fast. So that's what we're waiting on. Yeah. With that said, we have to do some price predictions.
We do, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go through it, and I'm going to give everyone between 10 to 20 seconds to quickly explain their prediction so people understand where we got them from. On Bitcoin, Smay, you have a prediction of 60,000. Why is that?
Because I think it's going to 60,000.
Good explanation.
By the way, for those of you who are new, we have been doing this for a while now. We took last week off, but we make predictions on Tuesdays, predicting what Bitcoin is going to look like at 9:30 on Fridays. Super hard to predict. Please do not take any predictions and make trades based off of them. This is solely for entertainment.
This is
and
entertainment
competition.
purposes only.
So, Jebb, you have an answer of 56,250. You are the low man. What is your reason?
Here's why. I'll show you on my screen. Bitcoin right now is still sitting in this zone, not feeling very confident. I'm betting that by Friday, which is when these predictions are up, which is the 15th, I believe it's the 15th, correct? Yes, it's the 15th. That's right over here. I still think we're going to be sitting on the sidelines, and I think we're going to be trading somewhere sideways. So my prediction is what, 56,250?
56,250.
Yeah, I think we're going to be sitting down here somewhere, just kind of like being boring, and I don't think the breakout's going to come by Friday.
I hear you. I mean, it's a good argument. I have 58,100, and it's actually kind of a combination of the two of theirs, and I actually believe, I don't know if we'll get quite to 60K by this week, but I think we might get there, bounce back down. There is a rising level of resistance in that rising wedge that we're on the daily chart that I do think that we're going to see a break to the upside right now. I think Jebb showed earlier, we kind of have a level of resistance at 57,500 and a level of support at 56,600. I think we're just trading between that right now, and we're going to break north of it.
I really think that if we go to the level that you just said, the dominoes are going to start falling, and we'll be on our way to all-time high. So I'd be surprised.
And that's kind of where I'm kind of leaning at.
I feel like we'd be higher than, what do you say, 58,100?
Well, no. I'm just talking about where we are by Friday.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like we wouldn't spend very much time there.
Potentially, and if that's the case, then that's a Smay win. So, we'll see. Moving forward to Ethereum. Smay, you have a prediction of 3,700 for Ethereum. Do you have an explanation for that?
Yeah, guys, to be honest, I think it's going there.
Okay, that's a good prediction. Jebb, your prediction is 3,560. You're the middleman on this one.
Yeah, I'll show you. On my chart, you can see that there is a symmetrical triangle pattern on the price action for Ethereum, which actually stay tuned because there's a video coming out at 6 o'clock tonight on Ethereum. So watch that. I'm sorry, not on Ethereum, on Cardano that's coming out. So watch for that Cardano video. But we talked about Ethereum, I think, yesterday. Yeah. And what's my prediction? 35.25? I forgot what exactly
35.60.
35.60. Yeah. I think that Ethereum's still going to be in this little triangle pattern right here, but it's probably going to be around the top. So 35 to 35.60, somewhere in there. That's why I think that.
Well, so I have 3,400. I believe that actually what we're seeing happen on Ethereum is what we thought was going to happen in Bitcoin, and that is with that inverse head and shoulders pattern.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I actually have us probably dropping down a little closer to 33. And for anyone who's like, Tim, what are you talking about right now? Ethereum's rallying. Look at the daily chart. As much as we've seen some uptick in price action over the last hour, we're still red on the day. Yeah. We still have a lot of room to go down. So that doesn't change my prediction. I think when I was looking at the technicals, that I think Ethereum has a little bit of a bearish move that sets up that inverse head and shoulders pattern, which allows us for a big breakout coming later next week.
Agreed. I think next week's going to be great, but I think this week's going to be a little boring.
So moving to Cardano. Smay, you have a prediction of 218. Please tell us your reasoning for that.
Well, because, 218 is not 219. It's not, it's not 217.
It's true.
So I thought 218 would be really good.
There we go. Jebb, you're in the middle on this one. Right. 211.
211. Here's why. Cardano is still in this symmetrical triangle pattern with a downtrend right there, uptrend right there. You can see it on my screen. I don't think that Cardano is going to be done breaking that. I think we're still going to be trading sideways. Yeah. We're probably going to be trying to break up, but we're going to be trading around 210 to 215. So I said 211.
My prediction, guys, broke my own heart to make it. I have Cardano on Friday sitting at $1.97. And this is why. There is not a lot of great things happening in Cardano right now. Again, over the last hour, it's seen a little pump, but go look at the daily chart. It's still a red candlestick. Guys, we just broke the wrong way out of a descending triangle. Descending triangles break to the downside. We broke bullish, but now we're doing this little curve thing back down. I believe there's a chance we go all the way back down. I'm not saying we end up breaking way, way, way below it because I think there's so much strong support for Cardano in the community. But I think there's a chance that we actually go back down and touch that level of support again and then bounce a little bit. So we could touch 191. And again, I have us on by Friday bouncing back up closer to that $2.
Well, there you go, guys. Are you hashtag Team Turtle, which is Smay, hashtag Team Tim, or hashtag Team Jebb?
He's not Team Tim. He's Team Bear. He's Team Bearish right now.
Team Bearish.
I wasn't bearish on Bitcoin.
Okay, so Team Turtle, Team Bear, and Team... I feel like I need an animal team name now. Team Truck? Trucks aren't animals.
That's not an animal.
That's not an animal. Team Truck?
We'll think on it and
Trucks
get
are
back to
animal.
them.
We'll get back to you on the
Trucky.
naming convention. Guys, if you enjoyed today's stream, make sure to smash that like button. We've got 1,500 likes. I think we can get to 2,000 here in the next couple of minutes. Guys, we come at you every single day here at 9:30 Eastern to bring you coffee and crypto because it is our firm belief that cryptocurrency can reverse your life in a very good direction, and you can make a lot of money in cryptocurrency. You can meet a lot of amazing people in cryptocurrency, and that there's a lot of opportunities in crypto. We want you to achieve financial freedom so that you can unlock your purpose in life, so that you can do what I believe God has set you to do. If you want to subscribe to a channel that puts you first, because we want you to be successful, and who comes at you every single morning with integrity and humility as two of our core values, smash that subscribe button. I think we're going to get to 200K by the end of the month. That's my prediction, my subscriber prediction, I suppose you could say. And also, guys, make sure if you haven't already to follow us on our social media. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at CryptoJebb. We post literally every single day, multiple times a day to both of those platforms, and we're growing fast on TikTok at CryptoJebb Official. You can find all of those links down below. If you enjoyed today's show, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media, and also make sure to sign up for Lux Algo, who is the sponsor of today's show. You can find that link down below. Use coupon code JEBB, J-E-B-B, for 20% off at checkout. It has helped me immensely in my technical analysis. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you today. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.